Now, off the back of the Chinese Premier's controversial trip to Australia this week, we see tensions continuing to rise in the region. Another clash with the Filipino Navy has China again on the defensive, insisting, and I'm only saying what they're saying, that they acted professionally. Now, you decide, have a look. The Coast Guard's ramming into the Filipino forces while wielding weapons, sticks, knives, even an axe. I'm going to bring in my security expert now, Lincoln Parker. Great to see you.
G'day, Aaron.
That doesn't look overly professional to me. What is your take?
Well, the Chinese have been doing this, as we've seen over the last few years, and they're ramping it up. And indeed, what they're doing is they're escalating tensions in a very big way. And it looks like they're actually pushing for war. And I don't think the United States and certainly Australia is prepared for that. And that's exactly what the road that China is going down right now.
What do they hope to achieve by all of these kind of, say, minor incidents in the region, and even ones involving our own soldiers and our own defence personnel?
Well, they've seen what Prime Minister Albanese has done. He's backed off, he's given in, he's bended the knee. And so as a bully, you keep doing that and you keep pushing as far as you possibly can, then you're going to get some leaders that are weak that will bend the knee and do as they're told. And if you keep doing that, then you have more control over those countries.
It's schoolyard stuff, right?
Yeah, we see it all the time as you grow up in school, and we're seeing that now in the Philippines, and we've seen it with Australia, unfortunately, and our Prime Minister has not stood up to the schoolyard bully and has not stood up for Australian soldiers, sailors and airmen.
The biggest story of the week, nuclear energy, the Coalition's policy. Talk to me about how nuclear energy is national security.
It absolutely is security. It is national security. So nuclear energy will make Australia stronger again. Nuclear energy will bring back jobs to Australia again. It'll mean that we can make things in Australia again, because we now know that less than 5% of manufacturing per GDP is in Australia. We don't make anything here again, so that enables us to be a real sovereign country again.
Our reliance on other nations for almost everything makes us so weak and so vulnerable.
It does.
Also, our inability to attract people into our defence force. Link, what's happened this week? We've got another idea of another great big thing we can cherry on top, rather than actually fixing the issues, of course.
Well, that's right. I mean, we need to look at the root cause of why we can't attract and retain people in the Australian Defence Force. And that is, why would you want to go and fight for a woke Defence Force, but B, when you have absolutely no chance of ever buying your own home and having a family and bringing up children, then what have you got to fight for? We're seeing that from young adults. And we've just seen a recent survey that came out that data shows that in 1981, almost 70% of Australians aged in their 20s said they were willing to fight for their country. But in 2018, that figure had dropped to 44%, and only 42% of 20-somethings said they were actually proud to be an Australian. So what are our representatives doing? We have to look after our young people.
It was one of the first columns I wrote for the Daily Telegraph a few years ago. Would they fight? Looking at this generation who seem to despise everything we stand for. Not all of them, but the loud ones. Why would they fight for a country they don't even like?
Well, look, I can understand that. If you're growing up in a country that's absolutely giving you nothing, you're never going to be able to own your own piece of Australia ever and have a family and bring up your kids and afford it, well, then what are you looking at as a kid in this country? And their leadership has failed them.
Yeah, we need legitimate hope, don't we? Lincoln Parker, brilliant. Thank you so much, as always.
Thanks, Aaron.